Welcome to the Mindly.Social podcast with Joe and Jane. I'm Jane and that's Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Jane. How's it going?
It's going great, Joe. How you doing?
Doing good.
And today we have a special guest with us. Say hello to Sil.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Sil. How's it going, Sil?
Pretty good. Pretty psyched to be here on this podcast with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
So, Sil, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I guess I am an artist, streamer, mom, all-around nerd, based in New Zealand.
That's really great. We've never really done an interview before, so this is like new territory for us too.
Yeah, first guest.
First guest!
I'm so honored.
So, you do a lot of streaming online, and I've been honored to be in your chat room a lot. And one of the things that has always been interesting to me is how you've been able to keep the chat going and how you're able to keep conversations going. How do you do that?
Honestly, I feel like I can't take much credit for that one. I was just thinking the other day about how amazing my chat is. I love my chat so much. They're always talking about random things in there. It takes very little effort for me to keep that chat going. They just kind of do it themselves. I have awesome followers. Big shout out to them.
Nice.
Yeah, otherwise, if it does get a little slow, I just kind of say what's on my mind. Sometimes that's really dumb stuff, but that just causes some more conversation, so that's okay.
Yay for community building. That's what I like to see content creators do, is building communities like that.
Exactly. It's about the community. Like, I don't really care about the content, if I'm honest. Like, I'm kind of a terrible content producer because of that. But yeah, for me, it's all about the community and like connecting with people. The actual videos and stuff I end up with, I don't care about that anywhere near as much as I do about like talking to people that have like come and said hello.
You do have a much bigger community than just on Twitch.
I guess.
Is that a question?
I
don't know. Like,
am I right? Like, you have Discord, you have Mastodon, you have Instagram.
I don't have Instagram.
You don't have Instagram.
Using Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I really hate those platforms.
Yes. Very, very nice.
No hate to anyone.
But you do have Discord and you do have Mastodon.
I do, yeah. And I used to have Instagram a few years ago, and I do still keep in touch with people that I met through there. Same with DeviantArt. I don't use DeviantArt anymore, but I still like have friends and connections from the times I did use DeviantArt. Those GCs just kind of tagged along with me when I started streaming on Twitch, and some of them came over to Mastodon as well. And we're just kind of from all over the place on the internet, really.
And what about DeviantArt and Instagram? What about those spaces didn't you like? Because as an artist, those are kind of spaces that a lot of artists go to showcase their artwork, right? So
yeah.
So as an artist, where do artists go to showcase their art?
We're actually having a lot of trouble with that on social media right now. Like, that is a huge problem. It used to be that Instagram was okay. And then they brought in the algorithm, and then the algorithm was just I'm showing my age now. Like, back in my day when I was using Instagram, we didn't have an algorithm. It's true, it was chronological, and then they brought in the algorithm, and then obviously the algorithm pooped on some smaller creators and stuff, and there was some complaints about that, but people stuck around. And then they started bringing in stuff like stories and reels, and like, man, in the last few years since I've left it, I've heard a lot of complaints about how Instagram is just getting worse and worse. It's not for small content creators anymore. It's just to keep boosting up the big ones. Like, if you already have more followers, then you're going to get more followers. And if you don't have any followers, you're not going to get any new ones because you have like no exposure. It sounds like a really rough platform to be in right now, which is why I left. I kept seeing the same people over and over. Like I was missing posts from some of my close friends and other small content creators that I follow, and I was like spending so much time trying to keep up with my feed, but Instagram would show me posts that I'd already seen, posts from a week ago, posts from like just larger, more popular artists that already have like thousands and thousands of likes and comments. I was seeing all of that, but not the things that my friends were posting, and it just became completely useless to me because I couldn't keep up with them, and that's why I was there.
And I want to also mention that so I don't do a lot of content creation anymore, but I actually moderate for a lot of content creators, and I do have some sort of insight into the scene and everything. But the biggest issue I have with those platforms is if you're building a community on those platforms, they don't extend to any other platforms. Like TikTok, you can build a huge following there, but it doesn't translate to your Twitch streams or anything like that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I think Instagram's the same way. They want to keep you on that platform, so there's no easy way to get your followers from one platform to another, basically, because they're so what's the word? They're incentivized to keep you there because the ads pay the bills for them.
Yeah, exactly. I've been really surprised because I've known, I don't know, maybe back when I was on Instagram or through Twitter or something, some artist would be like, "Oh, I've started streaming on Twitch or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Somebody that I enjoy has started streaming, and then I go to check them out, and they have like no followers there, and like no one's showing up. It just didn't translate. Like I was really surprised, and the other way around as well. Some of the larger streamers have a very small following on those other platforms, and I don't know, they're just like jealous lovers, social media. Like they just they just don't want to hear about the other ones,
Yes, that's definitely what I've witnessed also. It's algorithms kind of ruin everything.
They really do.
It's actually funny, since I've been posting on Mastodon, like I've been growing my YouTube channel, but I don't post videos there anymore, but people are like finding them like naturally through my posts and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And I'm like, why are people following me? I haven't posted anything in a couple months. Like, why am I getting new followers still? And I recognize them all have the same avatars that they do on Mastodon. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, how's that happening?
That's really cool, though. I love that. It's like Mastodon is your really chill girlfriend, yeah.
Social media. So we were talking about social media. We were talking about Mastodon, and so one of the things that I did want to talk to you about was content warnings, because I think that you and I both agree on content warnings. Joe.
What?
I agree on content warnings. Such a hostile environment.
No, I just wanted to talk to you about content warnings because I think that some people don't understand the purpose of content warnings, and I think that you gave a really good explanation of content warnings on a post, and so I kind of just wanted to talk to you about content warnings, get your perspective on content warnings, and just understand where you're coming from and why content warnings are so important to you. So, I mean, let's just start with the simple. What is a content warning to you?
To me?
Yeah.
This is simple. This is the simple question.
Yeah.
Very broad. I feel like generally speaking, if we're thinking, across all social media, not just Mastodon, content warnings are pretty important because they can trigger stuff in people. There's trauma that some people are carrying around. I think you mentioned that in a previous podcast, Jane. And there's not only like emotional and mental and psychological trauma, there's also like physical factors in play as well. Like some people are photosensitive and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of things that you kind of just generally need content warnings for. But in Mastodon in particular, I think that we actually have kind of a fun take on content warnings. I'm sure this isn't where you are expecting this to go, but in Mastodon, a lot of people use content warnings as actual content warnings, of course, but also just to shorten their post. Like, they kind of use it as like a click here to expand the post if you actually want to read this thing, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like that's quite neat. That's not necessarily a content warning. It's just like I'm just trying to make this more convenient for you, which I think is really neat.
But there actually is a discussion right now on the Mastodon GitHub. They want to rename content warnings to like titles or subjects, so it's not limited to just content warnings, so people can use it like that.
That's great, but I think that wording is also very confusing and problematic. Like if you say, hey, here's a title, everyone's going to expect to have to fill in that title, right? We're going to end up with every single post having a content warning.
No, it'd only show up if you click the button. Like the content warning button would still be there, but they would just rename the button to titles or subjects. So it wouldn't be mandatory, but people can use it for both things, so it's not just content warnings. Because, yeah, like you said, people are using it in a creative way, and I actually really like that because...
Yeah, me too.
Especially like there's a couple of Mastodon servers out there that their character limit's like 10,000, and I really don't want to see all 10,000 characters.
That's a lot of characters.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't mean to get off track, but back to content warnings.
Yeah, I really like the content warning culture here in Mastodon. It's great.
So as far as content warnings go, there are some people who believe that we're going too far with content warnings. And what would you say to those people?
That depends so much on context. Like so much on context. First off, what do they mean by going too far? I mean, because I know that I think it's the Mastodon.art server in particular, I think. Don't quote me on that, in a podcast. But I think they have this culture of putting content warnings for eye contact, because there are people that are like, unnerved by eye contact or find it threatening or something like that. So a lot of posts have eye contact as a content warning, and like their photos are blurred out and stuff. I don't know what the culture is like over there personally, because I'm obviously not on that server. I'm on Mindly.Social, but that's always seemed a little bit excessive for me. But then I think about like, so for me, content warnings and hashtags go hand in hand, right? So if you're using hashtags properly, you can probably get away with less content warnings, because the people that are triggered by that content would already have muted those hashtags. Like, if you're using them right and if you're tagging everything correctly, you won't have to content warning quite so much. But how do you there's no hashtag for eye contact that I know of, so I guess you do kind of have to do that. People aren't really muting those things. So it kind of makes sense on that server where there's a lot of that floating around. But for, I don't know, other general social servers where people are like posting selfies and stuff a lot, I feel like it doesn't quite make as much sense. So it just depends so much on context and like who you're surrounded by and what your server is like, and kind of just where you are.
Speaking of surrounding yourself and having yourself surrounded by things, what kind of things do you like to have yourself surrounded by? What kind of things spark joy in your life?
Chocolate. I want to be surrounded by chocolate and coffee. Seriously though, generally speaking,
I'm just like picturing the. Sorry.
No, yeah, you go ahead.
I'm picturing the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where the kid's swimming in the chocolate river. It's like just surrounded by it.
See, I was picturing Scrooge McDuck with like just swimming in chocolate.
Diving into the coins, but it's all like the chocolate coins.
Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's my dream.
And as far as your online experience, what sparks joy in your online experience?
Purchasing chocolate online. No, generally speaking, like positivity I think is a really huge one for me. I think that's what ruined a lot of my experience on the Bird site. Is one of the things I did was I followed an artist that said like a lot of relatable stuff, and I liked their art. So I was like, yeah, I'm on board with this, and I followed them, and they like kept getting really angry at everything in their tweets. Like they were just mad about like lots of situations, political situations, which is very understandable. That is infuriating. But just like, you know, everyday life and work and stuff, there was just like a lot of venting that they did on Twitter. But you know, Twitter culture isn't so much to tag and content warning and that kind of stuff. So I got like all of it, and it just felt like I was surrounded in negativity, and that sucked. Like, yeah. So here on Mastodon, I'm, you know, it's okay to vent every now and then, but it is nice having that against behind content warnings, so that if I'm not in a mental space to be able to like take that in and read it, I can go past it, maybe come back to it later if it's someone that's important to me. But like, it gives me a lot more control over, you know, my environment and, you know, what's surrounding me. And generally speaking, I prefer that to be generally positive, affirming, full of kindness, and sharing other people's good, like awesome work and just general life stories. I wanna hear like authenticity and like just people being people. And I understand that negativity does play a part in it. I just don't want it to be like 80% of the content, you know?
I really like how when I'm browsing my home timeline and stuff like that, I see people talking about, you know, their accomplishments and what they're working on and stuff like that. And it actually really inspires me to start working on something or picking up a project that I had, you know, left behind a while ago. Just the motivation and the inspiration I get from Mastodon is different than any other social media platform for me.
Oh, that's great. It's funny you say that, actually, because sorry, go ahead. You're still going.
No, go ahead. I think you're going to say what I was about to say too.
Oh, I doubt it.
Let's find out.
Okay, well, I was going to say, earlier, I knew that Jane was going to ask me about, like, being an artist. And I was just thinking last night, like, what am I as an artist? Like, who am I as an artist? And I realized that I'm a social artist. Like, you know how people are social drinkers or social smokers? Like, they only ever do it when there's people around them doing the same thing. That's me. I don't make art in solitude. I need people around me also doing art. Otherwise, I'll just stop.
And that's kind of what I was going to say, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I know, like, a lot of people, I think Jane had mentioned in a previous podcast where she wasn't really doing a lot of writing, but then she got surrounded by other writers on Mastodon, and it got her to start writing again. And, like, that's the kind of stuff I love
so
seeing.
Important. Yeah.
Now I'm doing that choose your own adventure, and it's going so great, and yeah, I feel really good.
So it's cool to see that artists are in the same space where they're basically taking energy, not taking energy, that's a bad way to put it. They're getting inspiration from other
sucking
artists.
Energy.
I will steal your energy and make my own art. No, but like the energy just pumps everybody up to continue making art. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love that sort of collaborative environment. Even if it's not like actively collaborative, you know, you're still like lifting each other up, which is great.
Although there does seem to be more of an active collaboration on Mastodon than I've seen elsewhere. Like, people seem to actively want to collaborate with you more than they have on other platforms, I've noticed.
And if not actually like collaborating, like there's a lot of people that are willing to give feedback. There's a lot of people that will, you know, answer questions, help you out, give you tips and stuff like that. So even if it's not like an actual collaboration of, you know, merging their art with yours or whatever, there is definitely a lot of mentoring, I think, going on, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Do you have any cool stories of something that's happened on like Mastodon that inspired you to do something that you normally wouldn't have done because you weren't in that headspace to do it, or anything like that?
Nothing like directly like that I can think of, but I have met I've made some great friends through Mastodon that do like similar hobbies to mine, and it is fun. Like I think I talk to them more about like technical stuff. Like a couple of streamers, we talk about like audio issues and stuff. And
Oh
that
no,
like
audio issues.
yeah. Everybody has them, okay?
Yes.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to everyone. Like so yeah, it's a really common ground that we can like talk to each other about that I weirdly haven't seen that much on, you know, Twitter or anything. Like we mention audio issues being a thing, but we don't really like dive into it as much.
It's because there's more dialogue. Twitter was like a one-sided conversation, and this is in Mastodon as more of a dialogue.
Definitely,
yeah.
Mastodon to me feels like you're at a not a house party, but like a meet and greet or something. And there's people like standing in groups having conversations, and it's like if you overhear a conversation, you can just walk over and jump in. I say that as if I would do that at a party. I wouldn't, because I'm severely introverted, but Mastodon feels like the online version of that, and that's nice.
Yeah.
And I think that compared to other social media platforms where everybody's in competition with each other basically to, you know, get to the top of the algorithm, here at Mastodon that's not a factor. So you're allowed to admit when you have issues. You're allowed to, you know, show your flaws. Discussing audio issues isn't going to lower you to the bottom of the, you know, the algorithm because you're not the best streamer out there type thing.
Even if your podcast is perfect and has no audio issues whatsoever.
So much editing goes into this podcast.
Even if your podcast is perfect and never has to have more than one take. Especially on the intro last week.
What happened with the intro last week?
You don't need to know. Also, we nailed it 100%.
And we've never had to record extra outros.
We've never had to record anything over and over and over again. Nor have you, right, Sil?
Well, I don't usually get to.
She does it live. Sil does it live. She's a professional.
No, you just see my mess ups. So.
Well, I was thinking, like, how would like content warnings and trigger warnings apply to like live content? Because nobody uses those on Twitch that I've seen. Like, I
yeah, you're right.
Definitely follow a small percentage of streamers, but like, yeah, it's not something that's widely used there.
I suppose you could call the trigger warnings out, give it a couple of seconds, and then say whatever you're gonna say.
You know what? Actually, I did see this happen. I was watching Games Done Quick a couple of days ago on the Stardew Valley run, which was really fun, by the way. And they did mention trigger. Oh, they were warning about flashing on the screen. They said, this part coming up might flash on the screen a bit for photosensitive users, so might want to look away. And they kind of said, like, you know, hide the screen. We'll let you know through the audio. Like, we'll tell you when it's over so that you know when it's safe to look back. So you can do it that way if it's something on the screen. I think if it's something that you're going to be verbally saying, you can also put up like a warning on the screen itself so that users can mute it while it's happening, and then unmute it when that graphic goes away and you know it's safe to come back. So there are ways around it, but it depends so much on the streamer being like considerate enough to do that.
It is cool to see a big channel like, you know, Games Done Quick to do to be responsible like that, though. That's cool.
Yeah, that was great. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, it wasn't like massive neon strobing effects or anything like that. It was just like a little bit of flickering, and they still put up a content warning for that, and that was great.
I mean, that's how it starts, is like, you know, something small like that, and then hopefully it gets adopted more by bigger channels and stuff. Not to say Games Done Quick isn't a big channel, but like, hopefully others adopt that idea too. Okay, sorry to get off topic. That just popped in my head.
I thought off topic was the topic.
Off topic is the topic, which is off topic for us. On topic is off topic for us.
Chili oil, what's that? No.
Chili
Okay.
oil, by the way. Somebody got chili oil, and I'm so excited for him to try it.
I will open it one of these days.
One of these days better be today.
Can we get a reaction video? Like,
We
can we
wanna
get like
know.
a unboxing and then like
All those people that have started following me on YouTube, the next video they're going to see is a review of chili oil.
I happen to know that you eat ramen, and I happen to know that chili oil is delicious on ramen.
It
I would
is
try that.
delicious in ramen.
Yeah, so you should try your chili oil on ramen today. Today.
I guess I'm having ramen for lunch or dinner, whatever time it is.
What is time?
What is
Doesn't exist.
time? Who can say what? I don't know what that song is.
You singing Enya?
Yes. Only time. No? Okay.
Clap, clap. Okay.
You know what time it is?
What time is it?
Hey, girl. You looking so fine. You must be the toot of the week.
Is that the one we're going with? Okay.
That was my early 90s breakdown toot of the week.
No song though?
that
Yeah,
that
where's
was
the
part of the song.
Okay, well, give us the full song.
Yeah.
Oh. She looking so good. She's a toot of the week. Okay. Shall we let Sil go first?
Yeah, mine is kind of relevant to what we were just discussing, actually. My toot of the week is from Bob Poe. That's Bob Poe at c.im. And his toot says, microwave minutes are longer than regular minutes.
Very
It's
true.
true.
Because what is time?
What is time?
My ramen takes double the time to cook in the microwave.
But it's going to taste more delicious with chili oil on it, so it's okay.
Worth the wait.
Joe, what
I
is
like
your
that.
toot of the week?
Wow. I usually have a funny toot of the week, but I went with something more serious, and now I'm gonna feel really out of place. But my toot of the week comes from at Carolina Writer at Mindly.Social,
Mhm.
and their toot says, "Lies wrapped in emotions sell the best."
That's so true.
Yes.
Well, my toot of the week comes from Abby Crutchfield at Curly Comedy at Mastodon, and it's, you're telling me a sun-dried these tomatoes? Oh, okay. That is specifically what you mean. Got it.
Wow. That was a journey, that one too. I like
love
it.
that.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and record our outro.
I mean, I was gonna bring Henry Cavill on, but I guess we don't have time. So okay,
Oh,
outro time.
Ah,
darn.
Oh, come on.
No, we have a limit of 3 people in this room now. So sorry, Henry.
Still, I need you to leave.
You kick out our guest.
Joe, I need you to leave. Still, and Joe, I need you both to leave.
Can Craig stay?
Craig can stay.
Oh, okay, wow. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
And thanks for joining us, Sil.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Sil.
And cut. Or,
And
wait, no.
scene.
Hey,
Scene, that's it. Scene.
don't you guys do the be mindly, stay mindful thing?
Eh. Thank you for listening to the Mindly.Social podcast with Joe and Jane. The music of the Mindly.Social podcast is brought to you by Pixabay. The intro music is Energetic Hip Hop by Skillcell. The background music is Jazzy Abstract Beat by Coma Media. You can find us on Mastodon. Joe is at Mindly.Social /@ Cujo. Jane is at Mindly.Social /@ Janie. Thank you again and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.